Good afternoon, Lifetime Training Fitness and Nutrition professionals. I'd like to thank you guys for taking some time out of your education meeting to discuss the 120-day onboarding, as well as an overview of what's to come. For today's time, we will discuss a little bit more about your new club opening and the opportunity that you have to change members' lives within the community. We'll also discuss in detail the 120-day onboarding and the logistics that are associated with it. And then we'll also look into the compensation plan that you're currently enrolled with, as well as how to update that for the future. And then we'll also take a look as far as a way forward and your role with Lifetime. So first off, once again, I'd just like to reiterate a great congratulations to each and every one of you throughout our training process, as well as the setup and grand opening. Hopefully you feel really proud of the accomplishments that you have gone through already in joining the Lifetime family, but also you look forward into the events and future that you can have with us as far as changing members' lives or even growing with our community. So always remember grand opening night as a spectacular event and a life-changing moment in your career path with Lifetime. Next up, I want to dive into the 120-day onboarding. So taking a look, we have our Lifetime training syllabus to really dedicate your time over the next couple of weeks and provide the details and layers of support as far as education, content, and activities that you will be going through to ensure success in building your brand and reputation. Now, reading through this syllabus, please make sure that you focus on some of the action items and activities to ensure compliance throughout this process. Upon completion, you will be entitled to receiving 20 contact hours or 2 CEU units that are eligible for some fitness-based institutions to continue your education and renew your certifications. So at the end of this process, this will be available in your Learning Well to print off and send to your required agencies. Now, during the 120-day process, there are a couple components that will consist of your education and experiences. First off, there is some pre-learning. This pre-learning will be done ideally prior to next week's upcoming Thursday event. This pre-learning can consist of the Learning Well modules, Idea Club Connect modules, or even some additional articles or educational resources that you will go through. Please ensure that that content again is complete before the upcoming Thursday. This way, the facilitator-led event or education meeting can relate to the content that you already are aware of. Those educational meetings will either be live and in person, or they will be done through a facilitated call. After that event is completed on typically your Thursday education meeting, there will be some follow-up for in-club activities to enhance your experience, and then a weekly form stack evaluation to ensure that you've understood the content and to increase compliance long term. Taking a look at the next upcoming weeks, weeks 2 through 4 will focus on vendor training. Here is where you'll have an opportunity to get hands-on experience with some first-class individuals that represent the following brands. They will be there to help guide you and show you some products as well as button pushing technology to enhance your members and even your own personal training experiences. Definitely pick their brain to ensure that you know every little detail there is about the equipment on your fitness floor. There will also be manuals as well as learning guides for each of those vendors that are found in your Learning Well so that you can have continued education or a look back for any questions or comments that you have. Now, for the upcoming weeks, please make sure to block out in your PT scheduler from 12 o'clock till 2 o'clock, as these will be the times when the vendors are on site and expect you to participate in their closed training session. So please make sure you adjust your client's schedule accordingly. Week 5 after our vendor training will consist of our biology of health and fitness. Here in the Learning Well, you'll be reintroduced to the Lifetime training method and really dive deep into the science, anatomy, and physiology of how training plays a factor in your members' lives. There is an additional reference guide or participant guide that is found in your Lifetime Network folders. If you do need any assistance in finding that guide, please reach out with questions. Following the pre-learning in the Learning Well, you will have a one-on-one experience meeting to talk more in depth and detail about the content as well as your one-on-one training sessions best practices. Following that meeting, it is ideal that your sub-team leader does a one-on-one PF&C on a client session to ensure that you've taken the principles from your learning and put it into best practice from day one. There will also be a follow-up form stack activity for you to complete. Week 6, you will learn more about lab testing. There is a full certification for lab testing found in your Learning Well. So the pre-learning is to complete that certification and leverage the participant guide that is also found on your network folders. During your Thursday education meeting this week, you will be communicating with some of our corporate registered dietitians who are in charge of facilitating those lab assessment reviews, but can also Q&A with you about some of the best practices and how to get your members connected appropriately. Your action item this week is to complete a symptoms assessment on all of your current clients if you have not done so already, as well as to potentially sit in on a lab review if you have connected your client to an assessment thus far. Week 7, we will look into the world of assessments and really start to identify some of the energy systems that you have when exercising. We will talk more in depth in detail during your Thursday education meeting through the metabolic conditioning methods and how to get your clients connected to a training program. Ideally, this week, you should enhance your craft and skill set and make sure you complete a metabolic conditioning workout based off of your specific heart rate training zones. Week 8, we will continue to look further into the energy systems and the lifetime training methods that are available for you as well as your clients to increase their conditioning, their fat utilization, and overall endurance. During this week's education, we will not have a facilitated call at this point in time. However, it is a great moment for you to catch up on some missed learning or any lifetime events that could be occurring at this time frame. Your activity during this week is to reassess your active metabolic assessment, as I'm sure it's been a minimum of 3 months since your initial, and it's a great time to showcase your clients your reassessment adaptations to ensure that they understand the value of a reassessment. Week 9 will dive deep into nutrition coaching. So here we'll really learn about the philosophy behind Lifetime and also what resources you have to connect your clients to and what nutrition coaches do during their training sessions. You will also connect during your Thursday education meeting with our corporate nutrition coaches to ensure that you understand, again, those best practices and to Q&A with you as far as some of the details on what nutrition coaching is. Ideally, this week for your activity, you should sit in on a nutrition coaching session or consultation with one of your clients to really bring that education to life. Week 10 will dive deep into supplementation. So here you'll have some pre-learning of some modules to understand some of the myths about supplements, how Lifetime has created our own formulas, and what are some of the basic details you need to understand to ensure that your clients are connected to the right products. During your Thursday education meeting, there will be a facilitated call for you to understand more about supplementation and again, some best practices. Ideally, this is the week where you should conduct a nutrition booth and really highlight some of your learnings and bring it to life by connecting members to some of our supplement products in club or online. Week 11, in your Learning Well, you will be continuing the Lifetime Method education and going through some Strength and Power Method education. This will help you with your overall program design. And then Thursday's education meeting will be a facilitated call to discuss the depths and details about small group training and provide again some best practices as another layer of support. Ideally, for your activity during this week is to participate as a client in one of our GTX or Alpha classes, as well as hosting an exercise booth to engage with members on some other strategies that they might not be aware of yet. During our Week 12 content, we will focus on some breathing additives to your training program design, as well as recovery and relaxation. To partner this, you will have a facilitated call with our corporate Pilates coordinator. This is where we'll learn more about the program, the philosophy, and some of the tools and resources you can use to get your clients and members involved in our Pilates training. Ideally, you should take some of your clients through some breathing reset exercises that you'll learn during this week's content, as well as participate in a Pilates group class if there is an open spot available. This will not only enhance your knowledge, but also spread the experience of how it went for you to your clients to get them motivated about hopping on a reformer as well. And then finally, week 13 is your recap and evaluation. This is where you'll do a 3 sheets evaluation with your manager and potentially your general manager to identify some of your current successes, really look into your opportunities that you have at Lifetime, and then potentially talk about some non-negotiables, things that you really need to coach up and change to continue your career here at Lifetime. Overall, at the end of this appointment, we want to make sure you have a career pathway and succession plan set in place. At Lifetime, at the end of this 120-day training, you have a pivotal moment. It is where you can choose a performer pathway, which is where you're enhancing your craft, your skill set, gaining more certifications, and increasing your ability to become a master trainer. Or if you want to take on a leadership path, this is where you'll have the opportunity to take on some responsibilities and really identify how Lifetime's business operates, as well as the logistics of some futuristic roles. Those roles could be a program lead, an assistant manager such as a TDM or MOM, your training manager, senior manager, area lead, or regional manager. Either way, we want to make sure you have a pathway set in place and putting together some action items to grow your career and make sure you feel as though you are supported in your upcoming roles. The next item to discuss here is the current compensation plan that you are on. This compensation plan is currently our hourly metrics with a hopeful transition to commission. In order to transition to commission, just again to reiterate, you must have 6 consecutive weeks where your sales and service earnings equate to more than 1.5 times the state's minimum wage. You will also need to complete all of this 120-day learning content, so getting ahead of the game if you are accelerating your sales and service earnings faster than the 13 weeks that I've just discussed. And then also, once both of those requirements are matched, your personal training manager must update your compensation plan in our system. And then the following pay period is when you would start to receive some of the commissions that you would transition to from out of the hourly pay. If you do have any questions or concerns here, obviously consult your manager, but you should be taking control of your ICM portal and identifying weeks when you are above that earnings or when you're below. And this way you can identify when those 6 weeks are up. Now, looking into the future and way forward, we definitely want to make sure again that you utilize and leverage that syllabus so that you can make sure all the content is absorbed, the meetings are scheduled appropriately, and your activities are completed in a timely fashion. Every single Monday for the next 13 weeks, I will be sending a Monday memo. This memo will give your club as far as where you stand in our revenue and our productivity, as well as EFT. There will be some weekly updates, such as company initiatives or some potential promotions that could be going on. And then it will also have an outline of the syllabus for what you should be looking at and completing that current week. In that memo will also be an example schedule, basically what you should be doing as far as the quantity of appointments. Hopefully your schedule matches this because week over week it tends to grow in your productivity of client load and reduces in the amount of member engagement or different types of activities to gain clients. You'll also see that there is going to be an attached article that will help you learn more about being a business owner, being more engaging with members, or perhaps just more about exercise in general. There will also be some action items that could help you grow your business and connect with more members. And then finally, some statistics. These statistics will showcase your completion of our test outs, your current weekly 120-day compliance, the number of members you have rostered thus far for any sort of member engagement activity or appointments, your total training sessions tracked, and then your statistics as far as the financials go in productivity and sales. Hopefully you are hitting our monthly goals in productivity to ensure that your business is growing at a successful rate. Overall, throughout this 120-day process, we want to make sure that you are, number one, feeling supported in your new role. Number two, have an educational pathway to ensure that you are understanding the brand as well as the programs, products, and services that Lifetime offers. And then number three is that you feel supported in your career pathway and have a plan in place for your future. If you do have any questions, feel free as always to reach out, as I am here for support. But outside of that, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day and reach out with any questions.